10 best destroyers in the world. 10th place, Project 956. Project 956 missile destroyers, also referred to as the Sovremennye type, were built from the early 1980s in the USSR and in Russia. Project 956 ships were designed to combat enemy surface ships and provide anti-aircraft defense. They were to be a supplement to the destroyers of the Project 1155 Udaloin, designed mainly for anti-submarine warfare. These destroyers are equipped with powerful armament, including launchers for anti-ships missiles, anti-submarine missiles, anti-aircraft missiles and artillery. The first ship was launched in November 1978 and commissioned in December 1980. In 1996, 2 unfinished ships were purchased by China, handed over after completion in 1999 and 2000. In 2002, China placed an order for the construction for 2 more new ships, the first of which was launched in 2004. At the moment, 8 destroyers of this type remain in the composition of the Russian Navy. 9th place, Kolkata type. The Kolkata type is a class of stealth-guided missile destroyers for the Indian Navy. The class includes 3 ships, Kolkata, Kochi and Chennai, and they the largest destroyers used by the Indian Navy. The first ship of this class was commissioned in 2014. Indian ships use vertical launchers for both anti-aircraft and anti-ship missiles. India chose the Israeli Barak 8 anti-aircraft system and BrahMos anti-ship missiles. These are rounds that attack at around Mach 3 and can also be used against ground targets. A characteristic feature of the Indian ship is the Israeli AESA radar. Thanks to this, the effect was achieved as on Aegis ships, i.e. the possibility of omnidirectional electronic space search with a stationary antenna system. Ships of this type have a length of 156 meters and a displacement of 6,200 tons. 8th place, Hobart type. Hobart type guided missile destroyers are Aegis destroyers of the Royal Australian Navy. The new type of destroyers replaced the Adelaide class frigates, taking over the tasks of air defense and anti-submarine warfare from them. These destroyers was based on the Spanish designs of the Álvaro de Bazán class frigates, with the Aegis system equipment. In total, 3 units of this type were built: Hobart, Brisbane and Sydney. In 2021, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced that Australia would purchase Tomahawk tactical cruise missiles for the Hobart class destroyers. The ships are 147 meters long and have a displacement of 7,000 tons. 7th place, Type 45. The Type 45 destroyers are British air defense ships of the fleet's area of operations, planned as successors of the Type 32 destroyers. The first ship of this type, HMS Daring, entered service with the Royal Navy in 2009. When designing the new ships, it was estimated that the anti-aircraft potential of each of them was to be greater than 5 Type 32 destroyers combined. As a result, 6 very expensive but extremely modern ships were built. Thanks to the electric propulsion, the possibilities in the field of anti-submarine warfare have significantly increased. The ships are built in the block technology, which in practice means that its large segments are made in the form of ready-made sections, joined together in the shipyard. The main armament of the ships consists of 48 Aster vertical anti-aircraft missile launchers and launchers for 8 Harpoon anti-ship missiles. The decision about the lack of torpedo armament is controversial. Therefore, the only means of combating submarines is provided by onboard helicopters. The ship is 152 meters long and has a displacement of 7,300 tons. 6th place, 052 DL Luiyang 3 type. The Type 052D destroyer is a class of guided missile destroyers in the Navy of the People's Liberation Army of China. The Type 052D uses the VLS vertical launch system. The ships of this class are equipped with a 4-panel Star of the Sea radar system, NATO named Dragon Eye, with an active electronically scanned radar system AESA. Within the Type 052 class, there are two variants, the 052D and the 052DL, whose deck is 4 meters longer to accommodate the Harbin Z-20 helicopter. The Chinese Navy has a total of 25 destroyers in both variants. Kunming hull number 172, commissioned in March 2014, was the first active ship of this class. The units are equipped with the Multifunction Phase Array Radar (MPAR) system, which means that they have long-range air defense capability and are equipped with modern anti-ship missiles. Such destroyers have a length of 157 meters and 161 meters in the longer version, and a displacement of 7,500 tons. 5th place, Sejong the Great type. The Sejong the Great class destroyers are 3 guided missile destroyers for the Republic of Korea Navy. The design of these destroyers is almost directly derived from the American counterpart, Arleigh type Flight II-A units. The main difference here is a much richer armament, mainly in the form of VLS-class vertical launchers. These facts, combined with more extensive communication system, resulted in slightly larger dimension of the Korean destroyers. In 2022, the first unit of the second series of Sejong the Great ships was launched. The structural changes included the engine room, where a hybrid head drive system was used, consisting of 4 gas turbines and 2 electric motors. In addition, the ship has a larger number of vertical launchers for KVLS missiles, which according to local media are to be used to carry precision water-to-surface armament. Ships of this type have a length of 166 meters and 170 meters, respectively, and a displacement of 7,600 and 8,200 tons. 4th place, Maya type. The Maya class of guided missile destroyers of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force is a modified version of the Atago class, with an updated Aegis combat system and electric propulsion system. The ship of the same name, Maya, was commissioned in 2020, and Haguro entered service on March 2021. The first 4 Aegis-equipped missile destroyers were of the Kongo class, commissioned in 1993 and 1998. They were based on the American design of the Arleigh Flight I class ships. The Japanese developed the project, which resulted in ordering 2 more Atago class destroyers, commissioned in 2007 to 2008. They were followed by the Maya type, in service 2020 to 2021. The Maya class destroyers are longer than their predecessors, 170 meters versus the Atago class's 165 meters. In addition, their displacement is 8,200 tons, while the predecessors are 7,500 tons. 3rd place, Arleigh Flight III type. The Arleigh class guided missile destroyers are US Navy ships equipped with the Aegis combat system. Originally, these ships were designed to counter Soviet aircraft, cruise missiles and submarines. As a result, a structure was created, the purpose of which is to conduct airspace defense operations, anti-submarine and surface warfare operations, and strike operations. Armament includes over 90 missiles. Arleigh class destroyers are larger and more heavily armed than many previous classes of missile cruisers. A total of 72 units of this class have been built so far, and another 18 boats are planned. In 2023, the US Navy received the destroyer USS Jack H. Lucas, the first Arleigh-Burke-class unit in the latest Flight III variant. The main novelty of Flight III is the Raytheon radar system. The DDG-125 is characterized by an increased ability to detect and engage air targets, as well as the ability to defend against ballistic missiles. Arleigh-Burke Flight III class guided missile destroyers measure 155 meters and have a displacement of 9,700 tons. Second place, Type 055. Type 055 guided missile destroyers are Chinese warships, NATO codename Renhai. The 055 class destroyers are the second largest ships of this class in the world. The ships are equipped with 112 vertical missile launchers that can hold anti-ships missiles, cruise missiles to engage ground targets, and anti-aircraft missiles. The structure of the hull was subordinated to the reduction of the active radar cross-section. Specially shaped hull and bow sheets were used for this purpose. The anchor and its chain and other elements that could easily reflect the radar beam were covered. The construction of the first destroyer began in 2014. Nanchang 101 was commissioned in 2020. It is not known how many Type 055 destroyers were built, but according to unofficial sources there will be at least 8 of them. These ships are to be used to protect Chinese aircraft carriers as part of strike groups and to conduct independent operations. Destroyers of this type have a length of 180 meters and a displacement of 12,000 tons. First place, Zumwalt type. The Zumwalt class destroyers are a class of American multi-role destroyers with an emphasis on striking land targets. They were designed and built with a full range of stealth technologies. The cost of the prototype unit planned at $3 billion exceeds $7 billion during construction. The most noticeable characteristic of the units is the futuristic architecture, with the hull integrated with the multi-walled superstructure with sloping walls. These ships are classed as destroyers, but are much larger than any other active US Navy destroyers or cruisers. The tasks of anti-submarine warfare, anti-ship cruise missiles and anti-ballistic defense will be performed. No wars by the DDG-51 Arleigh-Burke units, which are much cheaper. Therefore, the US Navy took the position that the Zumwalt class units were not necessary, while the United States should resume production of the Arleigh-Burke class destroyers intended for these tasks. However, Congress allocated funds and committed the Navy to build at least 3 Zumwalt class ships. The first USS Zumwalt entered service in 2016. The ship is 190 meters long and has a displacement of up to 15,000 tons.